Hi, I'm going to attempt to try and show you guys how to repair the glass on my LG Nexus 5, Google Nexus 5. You can hardly see it, but there's right along here, I don't know if you can, you can't quite see it, but there's a small, minute, there you go, see the crack there? Across the screen. Now, I always have cases like this one with nice soft rubber, etc., and I had a cover on the front. However, it was going weird on me, especially during charging. What was happening is things would jitter, the time would jitter. I would try and do things on it, selecting things, and it would open, even when I'm scrolling through, it would open apps, etc. Anyhow, I went and bought a complete new front casing. Got it for $40 Canadian. It appears to be nice. Now the thing I notice is none of the rubber is in, so when I transfer everything over, I'm going to have to remember to take out all the rubber pieces and transfer all of that over as well. Some people prefer just to get the front glass. However, I've seen that sometimes it's hard to separate. So I'm going to give this a try. Hopefully I won't mess up my phone and have to get another one. I bought my kit with the screwdrivers, etc., all of that. It was fairly inexpensive. I've done this on a few phones, replacing things. I just did a charger port. So that's where I'm at. And I will try and let you guys know how it goes here, step by step. Okay, so once again, this here, they say to gently pry it up. There's only one slot really you can get in there. So I'm going to have to try and gently pry it all along here. And I notice once again there's some kind of adhesive on the back here. I don't know if you can see that. It looks like some adhesive tape. So I don't know that I can save any of that, whether I'm supposed to use some, but that now will go over here. And of course it doesn't sit 100%, does it? Well, we're going to see if this works proper or not. I just hope it does. Alright, I think that's almost it. Okay, so the next job here is to remove the battery, and that I remember was a hard time before. So they say to get a spooger, which is a nylon thing. I remember I had a heck of a time last time, so I'm anticipating it should be easier, but I don't feel it is. Let's see if I can get in here with any of my tools. Maybe some of these. Oh boy. I need to get this somehow separated and that adhesive off. And the adhesive is horrible. Try this big flat one, let's see if I get any better. You know what? I don't see. Okay, so how do we get this? Get in from here. Okay, so I just got, somehow it just went boop. And shit, I hope I didn't bust anything there. Okay, so at least the battery. Next, I'm going to have to take out, there's 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4, so this gunk that's on here has to move out of the way for the speaker box to come off. So I'm just slightly moving that stuff out of the way, which is the adhesive, I think, for the back cover. That should give me access to those screws. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4 screws, and that'll take the speaker housing cover off here, or possibly speaker. Let me get some of these tools out of the way here. Now this should pry up a little. Oh, actually this one seems a little bit looser. Or is it? Okay, I'll find a way to do this. Let's be patient, and it will come. There we go. So that now came off. I'm going to be putting it over there. Now there's just one dock port here, which comes off reasonably easy. And on the new part you can see that's where that is for. So that'll go down. So then there's this board to come out. That. Now, those coaxials cables I pointed out before, you have to undo them because we're going to be taking this board out. So undo them so they're loose enough. Then this tricky board here, so without damaging it, we're going to try and pull it up a little and loosen the adhesive as it goes without bringing it up too much, and then that way hopefully we'll gradually remove the adhesive and it'll come out as one, which that is potentially difficult here because I see it bending here. Why? Why is that bending? That is not a good sign. Boy. Together. That's what I want to know. It should come out together. Gosh. Okay, so once again, I found this board came out reasonably easy, but then there's a section here that's pliable, and then this here. I had to actually go in with this knife instead of the spooger that you're talking about, and now I believe it will come up. If I can get the rest of it. There we go. Hopefully there's no damage done. It looks okay on my side. So again, I'm going to have to move that off to the side. And now let's see what we've got here. Okay, so now I'm going to put the dock port in, starting reassembly. And hopefully this will go easier than previous. That actually sat down nicely. I like that. So we're going to have to... Oops. Well, maybe it didn't. Let's see. Yeah, the use board. It looks like it's in. I hope it is. Let's take it out for a second just to make sure. say it is. Kind of snap down into place, which is nice. And then these will be fed through once again. And I'm going to leave them a little leeway because I'm going to need, obviously. There we go. Where is it here? That looks better. Okay. So that, then I'll be putting this back on. Making sure that it does go across. Four screws back in. Get this out of the way, covering my hole. The big test will be as if everything's working after the fact. Hopefully I can say congratulations, I did a $100 job on my own, which is what I'm hoping the result will be. We'll find out soon enough. Okay, so that's that part. Okay, so of course you always make little mistakes. So after I put this cover on, I realized I forgot to connect the LCD port. So now I'm going to have to remove it again and lift the cover for the speaker here. And then I'll be connecting the dock port for the LCD. Otherwise it would have been totally dead and I would have sat there wondering, what the heck? So let's get this back up if we can. There we go. So this is a simple, should be a simple connection. Let me just make sure that I've got the right. There we go. Make sure you line it up properly. And now, of course, you know what, I prefer taking those screws out, making sure this snaps into place, and putting it in. Better. Actually seems to fit better than before, so probably having that dock port not connected moved it slightly. Okay. One more screw in here, then what we can do is put the battery in. They do have adhesive there. I'm going to do it without because, actually, should I? And you know what? I probably should put a little adhesive in there. Well, you know what? I'm going to leave it. And I can always come back and undo that adhesive. I just find it's horrible when you want to try and remove the camera. So, the other thing is, I don't want to forget this little rubber piece that was over here on that camera. Yeah, where the heck was this now? this way or this way? Or this way? I believe it was this way. That's the way it seems to fit. Okay, so I put the battery in. Next comes the motherboard. So lift these connectors out of the way and make sure they're not gonna get anything in there. And then there should be, let's see, oh, see, there's a connector there. So I've got to make sure that connector stays up and out of the way as I'm bringing my motherboard down, and then it fits nicely. Then I gotta put the screws in back in the motherboard. Okay, so now that I've got all of this on, I'm gonna connect. Actually, before I do that, what I think is a good idea is make sure your buttons, there we go. See, that wasn't in that side, so make sure your buttons here are all working. Then you can put your connectors back on, including battery. Where's the battery? It's a bit of a hard one. That one. Dock port. Oh. First you want to make sure that you're putting on these coaxial connectors too. That's some of the most important parts, otherwise you're not going to get a good signal at all. And let's see. There you go. That's one. And this. I gotta use a magnifying glass because I'm a little older, I guess. Come on. Let's see you get into your hole there. Okay, come on. And of course I bent my tweezers, so it'll work as good now. Part of the problem was I had it in the wrong channel. Okay, that might make a big difference. Come on. Let's put this thing in here. Then I'll put the dock port back in. Then I can put the cover back on. Okay, so once I got the two coaxial things on, I put all of these pins back in. The one thing I'm worried about is this speaker earpiece seems to not want to sit proper, but I'm going to try and leave it there in hopes that when I put this on, it will secure it in place. So now I start putting those screws in that I started to before because I totally forgot you need this. Well, I put the other cover, put the back cover on, started up, and so far looks like it actually works. So hallelujah. And the buttons seem to work, the power button worked, the on and off. So you know what? Okay, another reason why Scotiabank friggin' iTrade sucks. I had an option here. There's my option that I first started saying, okay, because in the morning it was going for a high bid. I had it up at 2030, I put it down to 1950. Then what I decided is, you know what, it's going down. I'm going to put it close enough to what it's asking, or the bid was. So here's a bid of 1835. It was actually 19 when I put this in, and look what happened. It fills it because I put it at market order, which usually should be the bid, and the bids were all around $19, and it filled it for $17.60. What the? I just don't understand Scotiabank. They like taking all their stuff, but they don't give you anything. I've had it with Scotiabank. They're freaking gone. I'll move all my 300,000 out of there. I don't give a shit. They obviously don't care about customers. They just want to do theirs. Okay, so the first thing I got to do is take off the back cover. I'm using this tool. I'm going to go in. Oh, and because I've replaced the battery, I guess this is coming off better than I thought. So I'm just going to kind of slide my way around to try and detach all of these, if I can. And some are a little harder than others, of course. Let me try going at it from this side a little. The sides definitely seem to be a lot easier. Been a little time, so that's maybe why it's a little tight. But slowly work your way around. Make sure you don't force it too much like I normally would. And that's much easier as you go around. You can see the tabs there that are holding it in place. And something just broke there, which I don't like. But I think that's part of what I'm replacing, so I won't mind it as much. Wow, just a cover alone causing me this much grief to get off. Okay, come on, there's got to be one more. Why is this such a hard one to do? And there we go. Wow, that was very hard to do. Looks like the battery was stuck here, whatever this battery or flash or whatever it is. Okay, so there's my case beside the other case. Okay, the first thing I forgot to tell you guys is, of course, before you do anything, make sure you power it off. Power off your phone, and then get your SIM card out using the little utility that came with it. There's a little hole on this side. I don't know if you can tell, it's really hard, but I'm going to poke it in there. Let's see. Like that. And then this should come out. There we go. It just flipped a little open. Out comes my SIM card. And I'll leave that on the side there. I'm going to put this back in its place before I lose it. Excuse me. So now what we're going to do is there are screws here. Let me kind of point them out. There, 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 and there. Screws to come out. So that's what I'm going to be taking out to disassemble the top part. Okay, so I'm going to try and remove the 6 Phillips screws here. Make sure you put them where you will not lose them. Sorry this is taking so long. I'm just trying to be careful enough to show you as well. Okay. Now, this may just come off. Next step. Let's see. Okay. So, normally with what they call a spudger, which I believe is a nylon pry tool, which I don't think I have, so I'm going to try and use this thing here and see if I can remove this protective cover without breaking it, of course, which sounds like it goes okay. So that's that. I'll try and place them in order up there. I've got all my parts off to the side there. See, I put them in the case. Let me zoom out just a bit. Now, I have had the battery out before. I replaced it with a replacement battery. So there is connectors here to remove before you get the battery out. And the battery, what I found was there's an adhesive. So I had to go around and gently pry it all the way till I finally got it out. So getting back to this job, if you have what they call a spudger, you can use it. Here's the battery connector here. So there's that connector. Okay, so then the next thing you want to do, similar to when I'm doing the battery, is this bigger port. So I'm going to be very gentle since I may not have the exact tool here, but I want to make sure that I take this off gently, which doesn't like to come up so easy, does it? It's getting there. Rather be gentle and make sure I get it. So this is what you need to take off when you get the battery out. So I remember before, battery then will, see, it's also still stuck in there a little. So the adhesive tends to heat up, so you're going to have to gently go around to pry the battery off. That being said, we've got another camera connector over here, which we have to remove. So that's up. Then there'll be this camera, which is the rear facing camera. There's that connector. Okay, now that we've got those connectors off, we should be able to get our motherboard here off. Oh, actually, sorry, one more thing. There's two very small wires here, and they're connected with little clips here, so you want to remove those. If I can get at them. Wondering if this would be any better. Yeah, actually for me that worked out better. So there, and then over here, you want to try and pry them off without damaging them, of course, because that's your antenna, I believe. So that's those. And now we should be able to get this motherboard out without damage, hopefully. Make sure these are out of the way. Don't break on me, please. So this lifts up reasonably easy. Make sure your connectors are all out of the way. Now this kit's out. So we can kind of look and almost compare between the new and the old. We're going to have to replace, move over that, move this camera, obviously the battery. We're going to have to take the bottom part off here because there's obviously another connection, so there's one more board here. This has some gunk on it, but I'm not going to try and scrape or touch any of that. It's adhesive, which I believe helps the back cover come on. So what I was doing is I just pulled the rubber from here and the power switch and the up and down. I used a tweezer, poked a hole out through, gently took it from there, placed them into the replacement parts, making sure I seat them the same way. So far they look like they'll be okay. Then I took the earphone jack, moved it over. I'm gonna do the camera, whatever this is. Try to. If I can lift it out. Gently lift it out, it says. Okay, how am I going to gently lift this out? Gonna have to look this up. Okay, so there's yet another little rubber piece here which I'm slowly trying to pry out. That will have to go into the new housing as well. But let me wait on that. Now let's see if I can remove this here, which I'm hoping I can. Because if I break it, I'm in for a whole new phone. Come on. Should come up. Why is this not wanting to come up? Okay, let me check. Okay, so for me, I ruined almost the camera here, which is the front-facing camera, which I don't hardly ever use anyway, but it's very, very tight in there. There's this little piece that's taped down on the side here. Oh shit, I'm off camera here. Little piece that's taped onto the side. I actually went in with an X-Acto knife, tried the best to lift it up. As you can see, it's not the best job I did, so I'm hoping it'll still work. I don't know whether that's a ground or just a tape cover. It looks like it's a cover over the thing. Anyway, I'm going to put it into the newer case here, and without messing other things up, hopefully. Now the next one is this camera. Hopefully this one's going to be a little easier. Many of the sites say, oh yeah, you just lift it out. Well, I'm trying to just lift it out and it doesn't always work. So let's see what we've got here. Like that. Can I just lift it out? Maybe if I pry from side to side gradually. I don't know. I don't like using metal. Okay, let's try. They say you should be able to just lift it out here. Well, guess what? Not that easy. Let me figure this one out. Okay, so it looks like I have to go in underneath here and peel it up. So let's try if I can get in under there. Because it looks like all of these parts have adhesives. Wow, they are very, very tight, I must say. Come on, let's see if I can use the magnifying glass a bit so I can get in there properly. I do not like this at all. Do not like it. Wrecking my phone, which I did not want to do. Oh my god. Okay, well, in my case, what I did is I got a magnifying glass and I see there's like a little board attached here, And even though a lot of people use these tweezers, I could not get underneath to loosen the board. So what I had to do is gently go under here, pry it up, and now it appears that I can now probably get these tweezers in there. And what you want to do is gradually loosen, because there's adhesive or tight fit or whatever it is. And I'm trying my best. There we go, I think. Wow. Still, so there's still adhesives. Oh, there's a tape. See, so similar to the other camera, there's a tape holding it down. So you have to basically pry off the tape as best you can, which will then give way. And I don't know that's a grounding tape. It looks like it may be. It's still got some adhesive. So now I'm going to move that over to this and whoosh the heck. And I just noticed it's not quite the same fit. Hopefully that won't do anything for me to distract or make it not work. Then there'll be one more thing here, which is this speakerphone. So let's see how badly I can manage this part. Again, they always say it's so easy to pull it up. Well, guess what? It doesn't pull up so easy.